Want to know the latest in soccer? Then listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Soccer Podcast. From MLS, the World Cup, and the Premier League, we've got you covered. The latest updates, the hottest matches, and news on the league's top players. It's the Golden State Media Concepts Soccer Podcast.
David Beckham scores the goal to take England all the way to the World Cup finals.
Listen now.
Alright, and welcome to the GSMC Soccer Podcast. This episode is brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network, and as always, I am your host, Jesse Tapia. Alright, it is now Friday, end of the week. We've had a whole set of World Cup matches go through, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and now Friday today. Today, we're going to go through each different day. We're going to start off with the most important one, which I'd say was Thursday, given the fact that now Argentina is basically on the brink of elimination. All right, we'll talk about Thursday's games here for the first segment. We'll talk about today's games, which was Friday's, for the second segment. Wednesday's, let's see, what are better games? We'll talk Wednesday's games for the third segment, and then Tuesday's games for the fourth, and then we'll look ahead to this weekend's games also. All right. So that's how the show's going to go. But like I said, starting off with Argentina and Croatia. Obviously, we talked about the Argentina-Iceland game on Monday. Okay. Iceland was basically playing 10 in the back. Argentina struggled to get past that defense. Messi missed a penalty. Did have some other chances, though, but nonetheless, that game ended 1-1. All right. Obviously, if you're Argentina, you would have expected to beat Iceland, but of course it doesn't work out that way. So now you head over playing Croatia, and you expect to at least win that one, or at least get points again. All right, given the fact that at the time Croatia was up in the group with 3 points, you and Iceland with 1, Nigeria with 0. Okay. Obviously, it didn't work out that way. I'm not really sure what's gotten into Argentina, but nonetheless, they have not impressed at all, and they've looked honestly extremely bad. Like one of the worst teams in the tournament, I'd say. All right, that's how bad of a showing they've put out. And looking at the lineup that they put out against Croatia, no Di Maria, no Higuain, no Dybala. It was Mesa, Aguero, Messi, Salvio, Perez, Mascherano, Asuna in the midfield. Alright. Then you play with 3 center backs. Willy Caballero was the goalie. And like I said, they left Dybala on the bench. Well, they didn't leave him on the bench. They brought him on, but nonetheless, you get what I'm saying. They didn't start Higuain, didn't play Biglia, didn't play Banega. I'm not sure exactly what is going on with this coach, but nonetheless, this team seems to be out of sorts tactically, and doesn't seem to have one true direction of where they're going for this World Cup. All right, I don't think this coach really got this team ready to go. Okay, they played terrible so far, and now it's just a point where you're down. Let's see, 2 points behind the second place team. You're not going to reach first. Are we sure that this team could even beat Nigeria in their third matchup? All right, because that's what's going to take. A draw isn't going to be good enough for Argentina. They literally have to win. Are we sure that they're going to win? Are we sure that they're even going to put out the right lineup for that matchup? I believe they're playing on Tuesday. All right, it might be... Let's see, is it Tuesday? I believe it is. Their next matchup, or for Argentina. Let's see... So, yeah, Tuesday. Yeah, I believe it is Tuesday, where they'll be playing Nigeria at 11 on the 26th, I believe it is. Let's see, is the 26th on a Tuesday? The 26th is on a Tuesday. All right. So, yeah, basically, I mean, are they going to be able to make it out? I'm sure they could beat Nigeria, but it's just a point where Messi played terrible in that game against Croatia. All right, like he was absolutely like terrible. A whole lot worse than what he did against Iceland. All right, let me see if I can find the in-game stats here for that matchup against Croatia. So, I mean, Argentina did have most of the ball, 57% of the possession, but that doesn't matter when you got Croatia who's taken more shots and had more on goal, all right? Croatia took 14 total shots, Argentina 10. Argentina had 3 of their shots on target, Croatia 5. First half, Croatia pretty much was the more attacking team. Second half, still the same thing, all right? Argentina just never really got into gear. Croatia basically controlled the match from start to finish. I mean, there's not really much more you could ask for there, all right? Croatia looked like the best team so far in that group. And I'd say that Argentina maybe looked like the worst team. Okay? They've been that bad. But nonetheless, now it's just a matter of we got to wait and see for Tuesday now. I'll definitely be watching that game. Alright? And imagine what Argentina not making it out the group does for Messi's legacy. I mean, he's already compared to Ronaldo. They're both compared to each other week in and week out. Ronaldo's doing fine. They're going to make it out the group. Okay? Are we sure that Argentina is going to do the same? I mean, the biggest thing with Messi has been he's never won a World Cup or a major trophy with Argentina. And from the looks of it, he definitely won't be winning anything this season. I mean, he'd be lucky to get, or in this tournament, he'd be lucky to get out the group here. All right. So we'll see what ends up going down. But nonetheless, I mean, I don't trust Argentina to beat Nigeria. I understand that Argentina by far is the better team, but Nigeria is a tough team to play against, and Nigeria is not going to be playing afraid. All right. I mean, maybe we could see Nigeria parking the bus, but it's just the point where they don't need to necessarily. All right. I think they could go toe-to-toe with Argentina if need be, given how vulnerable this Argentina team has looked. All right. Like I said, if I'm the head coach, I'm rolling out a grow up top, or Higuain, doesn't matter at this point for me. All right. Either Di Maria on one wing and then Dybala on the other, or Di Maria on one and Messi on the other. And then we'll have either whoever's not playing on the wing play behind the striker. Talking about Messi or Dybala. All right. You got to have your best players out there. There's no doubt in my mind that Dybala is one of Argentina's best 3 players. Okay? It's ridiculous how little the coach refuses, like, just doesn't play him. All right. I don't understand it. And like I said, I put all this on Argentina's coach. It's not just on the players. It's on the coach right here. So we'll see what ends up going down. But other than that, for those Thursday games, or actually, you know what? Let's go group by group. So today, right now, today we had Iceland, Nigeria. We'll talk about that. All right. So Nigeria and Iceland. I mean, Iceland played well in their first matchup against Argentina, like we talked about. And actually, no. We'll talk about Iceland. Yeah, we'll talk about Iceland. Okay. So, yeah, they played well. And you figure here against Nigeria, they're probably going to still try and sit back, counterattack type of thing, but it wasn't going to work. All right. And even then, so I'd say that Iceland was more so a bit more active compared to their game against Argentina. All right. Looking at the match statistics, Iceland only had 39% of the possession, which is understandable. They took 9 shots. 3 of them were on target. First half, they take 5 shots. They were pretty much the more dominant team in the first half. Okay. The more attacking team. 5 shots, 2 of them on target in the first half. Nigeria didn't have 1 shot. But then the second half comes, and it's like just everything completely switched. Iceland got away from everything they were doing in the first half. And now you got Nigeria pretty much 58% possession in that second half, 16 shots, 4 of them on target. Obviously, they got the 2 goals. All right, one of them was a half volley from Ahmed Musa. I mean, it was a great goal there, too. All right, couldn't really complain about it at all. And then you got him scoring again in that game also. All right, so we had both goals. They won 2-0. Gylfi Sigurdsson ended up missing a penalty in this one. Missed it in the 83rd minute. He makes it. I mean, you got about 10 more minutes. Let's see, how much stoppage time do they have? I forgot. I think it was 6 extra minutes. All right, so it would have been about, from the 83rd minute on, if you score, about 13 more minutes to, am I right or am I wrong? Yeah, I think it'd be 13. Yeah, so about 13 more minutes to go out and, to go out and get another. All right, but obviously with him missing there, you pretty much figured, yeah, game's over. This team has no chance. All right. So now with Iceland, I mean, they still have a chance to make it out, but they got to beat Croatia. Are they going to do that? I'm not so sure. I mean, Iceland would need to beat Croatia, and they'd need Nigeria to lose at least. Possible draw. It depends what. If Nigeria ties, then I'd say Iceland, all they need is a win. Depending on goal differential, though. They need to win by at least 2 against Croatia. I don't think they could do it there. So if anything, they need Argentina to win. Not by too much. They need to beat Croatia. All right. So it'll be very interesting to see how that group plays out. Like I said, right now it's not looking great for Argentina. I mean, all they do need to do is beat Nigeria, given the fact that I do think Croatia is going to beat Iceland. But it's a point where even then, so they get out the group stage, they're probably going to have to play France. You think Argentina stands much of a chance against France, given the way that Argentina has played so far in this World Cup? I'd say probably not. All right. So it's going to be real interesting to see how this all goes down for this team. But nonetheless, I mean, like I said, Messi, been underwhelming. Argentina, been underwhelming, been poorly coached. I'd say they're probably the 3rd, 4th best team of their group right now, given of how they've played so far. All right, so it's going to be very interesting to see how it all plays out here. But nonetheless, we're going to wrap it up. Next up, we're going to be talking about Brazil, their matchup, talk about Serbia and Switzerland, and then we'll talk about the other teams that have played. So stay tuned, and I will be right back.
Are you looking to get your college football fix? Looking to get the latest news on your favorite school's team? The GSMC College Football Podcast is your ticket to all things college football. Join us as we talk college football from the national championship, the college rivalries, the bowl game, to the Heisman Trophy. To which conference is the best? We've got you covered for the Big Ten, SEC, Big 12, the Pac-12, ACC, and everything in between. Download the GSMC College Football Podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type GSMC in the search bar.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Soccer Podcast. We spent that first segment talking about, what is it, Group D that Argentina and them are in? All right, we talked about Argentina's group, talked about the games over the week between the teams that have played. Argentina definitely on the outside looking in right now. I'm not too sure they're going to make it out the group. I'm not too sure that they're going to beat a Nigeria team, but I guess we can wait and see. All right. I mean, like, if they win, then all's good here. But if they make it out, Messi's got to retire, I think, from that national team. They're going to see the coach get fired. It's going to be a whole little thing with this Argentina team if they don't make it out the group. All right, and even then, so I don't see them making it past the round of 16 if they finish second, given the fact that I don't think they could beat France. All right. But nonetheless, I mean, we'll see what ends up going down with Argentina. They've always been disappointing as far as, like, the World Cup, except for that runner-up finish. All right, since 94, I don't think they've relatively done too well at all. All right, now let me see if I could find their past World Cup finishes. Like I said, 2014, they made it to the final, but nonetheless, didn't really put up a great performance. All right, and I think since then, they've struggled to even make it past the quarterfinals, I think, since 94. All right, let me see if I can pull it up real quick just to give a little bit of a background on it. So let's see, since 94 they finished round of 16. 1998 they made quarterfinals. 2002 they didn't even make it out the group. 2006 is quarterfinals. 2010 they lose in the quarters. And then, like I said, 2014 is when they become runners-up. All right, 2018 might not make it out the group. Probably won't even get past the round of 16. So it's not like they've been in the final before or whatever. Like, obviously 1990 they made the final, but since 94 they haven't really done much. Like, not semifinals, not a final, haven't won anything. All right, and it's just a point where I guess, are we going to give them a pass this time? I don't think you should. I don't think you can. All right, so we'll see. It's going to be very interesting to see exactly what happens. I mean, they won it twice back in 78 and 86. And I just think here, I mean, they're not winning anything. All right, this is probably Messi's last World Cup. I mean, I think he's, 30 right now? So maybe if he wanted to come back at 34 for 2022. But even then, so I feel like this is it right here. All right, because I'm sure at 34, I mean, we got Ronaldo right now who's 33, pretty much still lighting it up. So maybe it's still a possibility, but not too many as far as physical shape as Ronaldo. All right, but nonetheless, today we have Brazil and Costa Rica playing. Brazil ended up winning that one 2-0. Costa Rica pretty much just parked the bus here. Didn't really have any intention of scoring. I mean, they did have a couple of chances, but nonetheless, I mean, it was difficult for Brazil to score in this game. They didn't score until the 91st minute. All right, a goal by Philip Coutinho. Ball got laid down into the middle of the box. Coutinho's running in, finishes it off. All right, and then you got Neymar scoring in the 97th minute. We had way too much stoppage time here. But nonetheless, I mean, they were okay, Brazil. I mean, they pretty much did everything they could in order to have a shot to win this game. I mean, looking at the stats, they're absurd. If you watch the game too. All right, they finished with 71% possession for the entire game, 22 shots, 10 of them on target. And I mean, they were only able to get 2 goals there. All right, first half, they had 67% possession, 7 shots, 1 on target. Second half, when they scored, they had 76% possession, 15 shots, 9 of them on target. All right, Keylor Navas had to have had like the game of his life in order to keep this team in it for as long as they did. All right, he punched the ball out 3 times, had 7 saves, and had 5 clearances. All right, I'd say he did well today. Of course, I mean, it's tough for a goalkeeper too to keep a clean sheet when you're just constantly defending everything. All right, trying to keep the ball out at all times. And obviously that's your goal for the entire game, but when it's just pretty much shot after shot after shot, one of them is going to go in. And that's what happened here. I mean, obviously it's tough to go toe-to-toe with Brazil if you're Costa Rica, given the fact that you don't really got the talent. And I'm looking at it right now. I mean, as far as their average position on the field, only 2 of them spent it up. Okay? Johan Venegas and Marco Arena. Everyone else was playing behind the halfway line. And as for Brazil, I mean, their entire team was basically playing on the attacking side. Only had 2 players that stayed back, which was the 2 center backs, Thiago Silva and Miranda. All right. So obviously Costa Rica spending their entire match just trying to withstand the attack of Brazil and simply are knocked out of the World Cup because of it. All right. Last World Cup, Costa Rica did well, made it to the quarters, okay? Could have made it to the semis if not for a penalty shootout loss to the Netherlands. And as for Brazil, you looked poor in the game 1 against Switzerland where you drew 1-1. Here, you looked better. Neymar played well, had a goal, was only fouled 4 times, which is a plus. All right, had 3 of his shots on target, so he was very active here. Gabriel Jesus nearly had a goal too, but I believe they called offsides on it. He's also hit the post today too. And then, like I said, Philip Coutinho played well so far, got another goal today, which was the game winner earlier. Okay. Also, he had 4 shots on target too. He's been playing well too. Ever since he left Liverpool for Barca, I mean, he's kind of elevated his play. And like I said, with Costa Rica, they're now out of the World Cup, so they got to play. Costa Rica's got to play Switzerland next. I mean, Costa Rica's got nothing to lose. As for Serbia, they're playing Brazil next. They ended up playing today. They lost to Switzerland 2-1. All right, Mitrovic scores in the 5th minute for Serbia off of a header. Serbia was playing well. Second half comes, and it was all Switzerland there. All right. You had Granit Xhaka scoring in the 52nd minute. Absolute banger of a goal. All right. Ball gets deflected out to the top of the left side of the box. All right. And like I said, Xhaka just lines up, lasers it into the net. I think it was better than Nacho's goal for Spain against Portugal. I think it was better than Ronaldo's goal against Spain at the end of the match. I think it was better than Mertens' goal. And I think it was better than Bruce's goal today, too. All right. So I'd say, yeah, Xhaka probably has the goal of the tournament there. I mean, first half, Switzerland had some shots off, 8 of them. Serbia took more with 11, had 3 of them on target. And then the second half, it was all Switzerland, like I said. Serbia only had 2 shots, none of them on target. Switzerland took 12, had 4 of them on target. And that's why they ended up winning, all right? Shaqiri at the end had one where he ends up getting around the defender. And it's just pretty much, the defender trying to get him off the ball. Goalie coming up, but they couldn't handle it. He ends up scoring again. All right, 2014, we saw kind of like the same thing too, where they ended up scoring a clutch goal. I think it was Shaqiri too in 2014 that helped them score that clutch goal. So now you got that group where it's Brazil and Switzerland tied for first with 4 points. I believe right now you got Brazil up in first due to goal differential. All right, with +2, Switzerland +1. So yeah, you got Serbia in third place in the group with 3, and then Costa Rica with 0 points. Obviously, Costa Rica's out. All right, and I mean, Serbia, they need a win to advance. A draw does them no good. All right, a draw kicks them out. And I'm not sure that it's going to happen. That's just kind of a shame given the fact that I understand they lost today, but they've been one of the better teams in this group. All right, granted, they did play Costa Rica in their first match, so maybe they haven't been that good, I'd say. All right, but against Switzerland, they held their own. And you figured that they were going to get a decent result. Now you got to play Brazil. That's going to be a tough one. Do I see them beating Brazil? Definitely not. All right, I think it's going to be Brazil winning this group and Switzerland coming in second. But, I mean, there is a possibility. Actually, you know what? No, I don't think Serbia could keep up with Brazil. I think Brazil probably going to win this one by about 3-0 or something like that. All right, as well as Serbia has played in the first 2 games, I just don't, like I said, I don't think they could keep up. I think they got a lot of slow, old players on their team. I mean, guys like, how do you say, Kolarov. All right, Kolarov. Ivanovic, like those aren't guys who can necessarily keep up. Matic, I don't think can really keep up with anyone on Brazil. All right, and their center backs, I mean, they're going to have a tough time there too. So we'll see exactly what ends up going down. I expect Brazil to win this group though, and we're probably going to end up getting like a Germany-Brazil round of 16 match. I mean, we could get Australia, or we could get France, Argentina, Germany, Brazil. Let's see really what the group standings are looking like so far in the World Cup. See what kind of round of 16 matches we could get. So let's see. We'll probably end up getting, I'd say, right now, given the way Russia, how they've played, they're going to be playing Uruguay, or is it, yeah, Uruguay in the final match. Uruguay could win that one. We'll probably end up getting Uruguay versus Portugal, or we'll get Uruguay versus Spain. All right. And even then, so I'd say that Portugal is not completely out the woods given how well Iran has played so far. We'll talk about that actually in the next segment. All right, so we could get Uruguay versus Portugal or Spain in the round of 16. Like I said, we're probably going to get France versus Argentina. All right, Brazil versus Germany. And then we're probably going to get, I mean, we got to wait till match day 2 of these rounds, but I'd say it'd probably be Belgium versus Colombia, England versus Senegal. That'd be a fun game too, England versus Senegal. That'd not be an easy game for England right there. That'd be a difficult one, so we'll see what ends up going down there. But nonetheless, like I said, we're going to be talking about Group B. We got Spain faced off with Iran and then Portugal and Morocco. So stay tuned for that, and I will be right back.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Soccer Podcast. Today we've talked about Argentina's group, we talked about Brazil's group. Now we're going to head over to Spain and Portugal's group, talk about those games from this week. Probably going to fit in one more just so we get them all into today's show. So we'll probably do 3 games of this segment and then 3 in the next. But nonetheless, talking about Spain, they played Iran on Wednesday, I believe it was. Was it on Wednesday? Yeah, it was on Wednesday. And they struggled. All right. I'll be the first to say that, yeah, Spain definitely struggled against Iran. All right. Looking at it, I mean, you did have Spain who maintained most of the possession, but nonetheless, when they scored, Iran had to open up, and Iran had multiple chances to tie up the game. Okay? I'd say that definitely compared from the second half to the first half, Iran played much better in the second half than they did the first, and that's when they had to open up. I mean, we saw them pretty much defending for their life against Spain in the first half. That worked out well for a bit, but I mean that worked well actually for the first half. But once the second half comes, you got Diego Costa scoring in the 54th. Like I said, you're gonna have to open it up, and that's what they did. They had chances. Okay, Spain haven't necessarily impressed me so far in this World Cup. All right, I feel like they could have done much better. Okay, but of course haven't been able to. All right. Then I get the whole fact that Iran was parking the bus here, but there's a point where you got to do better. Okay? And even then, so I mean, yeah, they were parking the bus. Once Iran had to open up and attack, Spain still wasn't looking great. All right? Defense was struggling. I mean, they couldn't really get anything going in the attack. It seemed like Spain was the one who were trying to park the bus against Iran in that second half after they scored. All right, it seems Spain was okay with the 1-0 win. All right. But nonetheless, I mean, Diego Costa's played well. He's got 3 goals so far from 2 games. Midfield has looked good. All right. Defense has, other than that game against Portugal, played well. De Gea didn't make any bad stops or any bad plays as far as being the goalie in that second matchup. So I guess, I mean, maybe I'm being a little bit too harsh for Spain here. All right, which is also a possibility. I mean, I guess when you see Spain, you expect more. All right. But of course, I mean, you're not always going to get it that way. Spain have always been a team, too, who don't necessarily do too well in the beginning of World Cups. I mean, remember 2010, the year they won it, they lost to Switzerland in their first matchup. All right. And I mean, looking at Spain, let's look at Spain's World Cup history and see exactly how they've done. All right, over the last few. Because I know, like I said, before 2010, they weren't really doing too much. All right, it was more so a team where, yeah, they had talent, but couldn't put it all together. All right, so let's see. 2010, they won it. 2014, they didn't make it out the group. 2006, they lost in the round of 16. 2002, they lost in the quarterfinals. 1998, they didn't make it out the group. 1994, quarterfinals. 1990, round of 16. 1986, quarterfinals. 1982, it says second group stage they didn't make it out of, whatever that means. 1978, didn't make it out the group. 1962, didn't make it out the group. 1966, didn't make it out the group. Did not qualify from 70 to 74 or 54 to 58. 1950, they finished in 4th. 1930, they did not enter. 1934, they made it to the quarterfinals. All right. And then it says in 1938, they withdrew. Okay. I mean, Spain, for as much as we talk about them, they've never really done much in the World Cup. All right, except for maybe a 4th place finish back in 1950 where I guess no one really cares. All right. They've never made it to the semis besides the time in 2010 where they won it. All right. Isn't that a bit concerning? I mean, we talk them up as if they're this great powerhouse, but what have they ever done in the World Cup? I mean, now I shouldn't even been surprised at that 2014 group stage exit, given the fact that's normally what they do. Okay? But, I mean, I guess it's Spain. But like I said, looking at it, they haven't really ever done much. Alright. In 2018, I mean, you expect them to win it? Have they really played that well so far where you expect them to win it? I'm not sure. I don't even think they're better than Portugal right now. Alright. But, nonetheless, I mean, it is Spain, so they do have a chance. It'll be very interesting to see how much of a chance they got. Because like I said, they got to play Uruguay, or they possibly have to play Uruguay in that round of 16 game. That's going to be tough. That's not necessarily going to be one where it's like, oh yeah, Spain's definitely got this. Because Uruguay haven't looked great, but nonetheless, they could always pop out for a great game. So let's see. We have Portugal versus Morocco that day, which is on Wednesday. Portugal got the job done. Wasn't necessarily a great game. Alright, yeah, Ronaldo scoring in the 4th minute off of a header. Game, yeah, pretty much like I said, it finished 1-0. As far as the match stats, Morocco did well in here. Alright, it's not like they sat back and tried to park the bus. They were trying to go out and score. They maintained most of the possession in the game with 55%, took more shots than Portugal, and had more shots on target than Portugal. Alright, they took 15 shots in this game. 4 of them were on target. Like, first half, they took 7 shots. 2 of them were on target there. 5 taken by Portugal, 2 on target in the first half. And then the second half comes. Portugal took 5 shots. None of them were on target. Morocco took 8. 2 of them were. Morocco's just been unlucky to get a goal here. Okay? They've pretty much, I'd say against Iran, Against Iran, they should have gotten some points. Okay, and I'd say against Portugal, they probably should have gotten some points. Now it's just a matter of they're out, so Iran's the only team with the ability to make it out that group. All right. And Iran, yes, they do park the bus, but they haven't necessarily played bad. All right, that's just their game plan, the same way it's Iceland's game plan. Okay. And I think that, I don't know, do I think that Portugal is a clear-cut favorite against Iran, like they're going to be able to make it out? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Iran ended up getting a result against Portugal. Of course, they need to win it in order to make it out. But nonetheless, that wouldn't surprise me if they did. Alright? Because like I said, if that performance against Spain means anything, then they do have a shot. Right? Because like I said, they came close. There was one where PK gets nutmegged. I can't remember who nutmegged him, but anyway, he sends the cross up into the box. Iranian player heads it, but it ends up going over. He easily could have hit it into the back of the net if he wanted to. Well, obviously he wanted to, but if he would have headed it properly. Okay. So I'm going to be real interested to see. I'm curious to see how Iran deals with Ronaldo too, because obviously that's the player no one could really stop right now. Alright. But nonetheless, I mean, we'll see. I do expect Spain to make it out. I don't see why they wouldn't. I don't see Morocco really doing anything against Spain in the final matchup. So I guess it's Iran and Portugal. That's the one to watch for. And they'll all be playing at the same time, so you're going to have to pick and choose which game you're going to want to watch. I'd say that Portugal and Iran is definitely the game to watch for in that group. Alright. And people are going to be in a dilemma. Which games to watch for? Especially you U.S. fans that are watching the World Cup. But nonetheless, I mean, there's that. We had Uruguay and Saudi Arabia playing that same day too, along with Spain, Iran, and then Morocco and Portugal. Uruguay should have done a whole lot better in this match. They only won that one 1-0. Alright. Saudi Arabia, they had maintained possession in that one. Most of it. First half, they had 55% possession. Second half, they had 51%. I mean, of course, in the second half, Uruguay was the more attacking team. They finished the second half with 9 shots, 2 of them on target. I mean, Saudi Arabia had more shots than Uruguay in the first half. Alright. Looking at it, though, you had Luis Suarez who scored in the 23rd minute off of Carlos Sanchez's assist. Other than that, they never really did much. Alright. Uruguay hasn't really impressed either. I'm trying to talk them up as far as a team who could upset Spain if they ended up playing the round of 16. But given how Uruguay have played, I mean, why would they? Suarez, yeah, he did score. He didn't really look too great, though, in that matchup. Cavani, still yet to score. All right, and you're going to need those two playing at their best in order for your team to have a chance at all. All right, but like I said, I mean, you see Russia putting up 5 goals on Uruguay. You see them putting up 3 on Egypt, and Uruguay struggles to put up 1 on each team. Does that really give you any hope or excitement for them going forward? All right, this is the World Cup where a dark horse team could end up winning it. And if you're Uruguay, you want to be playing at your best because all these top teams are vulnerable. The Germanys, Argentina, Brazil doesn't look great. Spain hasn't necessarily impressed. Portugal's look good, I'll give them that. France haven't really impressed either. They've won, but you're beating Australia and Peru by only a goal. I mean, that's not necessarily great performances there. So we'll see what ends up going down, but nonetheless, like I said, these top teams haven't looked great, so you'd expect the Uruguay and all them to take advantage, but they haven't been able to so far. So we'll see, obviously, what ends up happening. Maybe Cavani and Suarez could get it back on the right foot. So we're going to wrap it up here. Next up, we're going to be talking about the rest of the games that were played this week, along with looking forward to this weekend's game. So stay tuned, and I'll be right back.
This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Soccer Podcast. So far today, we've basically been covering this week's games that we missed from Tuesday to today, all right, which is Friday. Let's see, we've talked about Argentina's group, we talked about Spain's group, we've talked about Uruguay, we talked about Brazil's group. Now we got to talk about the rest of the matchups. All right, so let's see from Tuesday. I believe we had Colombia, Japan, Senegal, Portugal, Senegal, Poland, and then Russia and Egypt, which played on Tuesday. All right. Russia and Egypt, since we left off with Uruguay and Saudi Arabia, Russia and Egypt was an interesting game, I'd say. All right. Russia obviously was a team that deserved to win, but nonetheless, I mean, Egypt was putting up a decent fight. It's just in the second half, once that came, Russia put up 3 goals in 15 minutes. All right, one of them was an own goal by Egypt in the 47th minute. 59th minute comes. Denis Cheryshev ends up scoring again. Dude's been on fire. And then you got Artem Zuba scoring in the 62nd minute, which made it 3-0. After that, you knew the game was over. Egypt really had no chance. All right, Mohamed Salah ends up scoring a penalty in the 73rd minute. Egypt was fighting to get back into it, but nonetheless, I mean, Russia was just that much better than Egypt, where no matter what Egypt was doing, they had no chance whatsoever to get back into the game. Egypt did have chances, I mean, to shoot the ball and stuff. They finished with 13 shots in the total for the game. Second half, they had 8. Only one of them was on target. Russia took 3 shots in the second half. Only 2 of them were on target. Russia was more active in the first half than they were in the second compared to Egypt, who was more active in the second half compared to the first. First half, Russia took 8 shots. 1 of them was on target. Egypt took 5. None of them were on target. All right. And, I mean, Egypt were just underwhelming here. Okay, of course you had Salah scoring. As for what Salah did, he had a goal. Let's see, how many shots did he take? He had 1 shot on target. 2 of them were off. Was fouled 1 time. This really wasn't... Russia basically took him out the game. All right, didn't really do too much. Cheryshev played well. Zuba played well. And Russia's looked like the best team in that group so far. All right, they've played the same teams that Uruguay have played. They've done a whole lot better than Uruguay has done against those same teams. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Russia and Uruguay end up matching up with each other when they play, I believe, on Monday. Okay. Yeah, it is on Monday at 7 o'clock in the morning. We'll have Uruguay, Russia, and then Saudi Arabia versus Egypt. Egypt going to be looking for their first World Cup win against Saudi Arabia. All right. Also that day too, we have Iran, Portugal, and then Spain, Morocco. Definitely Iran, Portugal is the game to watch for there. All right. So yeah, Russia's looked good so far. I mean, like I said, they played well against Egypt, and now it's just a matter of they need points against Uruguay. They draw at least with Uruguay, and they're able to make it out the group. So we'll see if they're able to do that. But of course, for the other games that took place on Tuesday, we had Colombia, Japan, and then Poland, Senegal. Colombia was doomed from the start, basically. All right, you had Carlos Sanchez getting a red card in the 3rd minute for a handball. Shinji Kogawa ends up scoring the penalty from that handball from Sanchez, which got on the red card. All right, so it's 1-0 from 5 minutes on. Okay. Juan Cuadrado gets hurt, I believe, so he gets subbed out in the 31st minute, or maybe it was just one where it was a tactical sub type of thing. All right, Juan Quintero scores in the 39th minute for Colombia, which makes it 1-1. James Rodriguez didn't start in this one due to a calf injury, but nonetheless comes in the 59th minute for Quintero. James didn't really do much. I'd say he probably played pretty poorly. All right, then you got Yuya Asoko scoring off of an assist from Honda. All right, which made it 2-1 in the 73rd minute, and it ended up finishing that way. All right, Japan were the better team here. Like I said, you got Carlos Sanchez in the first couple minutes of the game with a red card. Falcao didn't really get too much going, I'd say. All right, and then looking at James, I mean, he didn't really do too much either. He played poorly ever since he came on. Played 31 minutes, only 76% of his passes were completed. All right, had no shots on target, had 1 blocked, was dispossessed once, got dribbled past twice, and committed 3 fouls. I mean, nothing really to show that he was dangerous in that game. All right, and as for Japan, I mean, they pretty much held on. They did what they needed to do. And like I said, Colombia is the best team in this group, at least before the group started, we all assumed. But this necessarily wasn't going to be easy for them. All right, yeah, they're the best team in the group, but they're not that much better than the Japan. They're not that much better than Poland, and they're not that much better than Senegal. All right. And speaking of Senegal, they pretty much outclassed Poland. All right, Senegal was the better team there. You had an own goal by Poland in the first minute, or not in the first minute, in the 37th minute, which made it 1-0 for Senegal. All right, first half ends that way. You got Blazikowski getting subbed out due to injury in the 46th minute, right after the second half starts for Jan Bednark. All right. Mbaye Niang scores in the 60th minute for Senegal, which makes it 2-0. And from then on, I mean, it was basically Poland just scratching and clawing, trying to find their first goal. They didn't get their first goal until the 86th minute from Gregor Szykowiak, which made it 2-1. And after that, they couldn't get it in the back of the net again. All right. Like I said, Senegal were by far the best team in this match. All right, Poland held the ball for most of the match, 61% possession. They did have more shots and more shots on target, but it was just a matter of all of those came in the second half, basically, when Poland or Senegal was up 2-0. All right, Poland didn't really get anything going till Senegal decided, we're going to sit back and we're going to let you come to us. Okay, and Senegal's a team that you can't really underestimate here. All right. Senegal's a team where they could cause some damage in this World Cup. I'm not saying they're going to go out and win it, but they could make a nice little quarterfinal, semifinal type of run. All right. I mean, you got Sadio Mane out there, Niang. They got a real solid team. All right. And in 4 years, 2022, that's a team where over in Nigeria, they could cause some trouble too. The youngest team in the World Cup right now. All right. People tend to underestimate these teams from Africa, but nonetheless, they know how to play extremely well out here. So obviously, you have, let's see, looking at the group standings, you got Japan in first with 3, Senegal tied for first in the second position with 3 points, and you got Poland and Colombia with 0 points. All right, Senegal, I believe, next up got Japan, if I'm not mistaken, and actually, yeah, let's double check that. All right, so let's see, yeah, they got Japan next, so they'll be playing Colombia for the final match day of the group stage. All right, Senegal beat Japan, they advanced. Japan beat Senegal, they advanced there. And I'm sure either of these teams would be happy with a draw, given the fact that they'll still be ahead of whoever wins in that Colombia and Poland matchup. All right, but of course, like I said, one wins, they advance. So it'll be interesting to see exactly who ends up getting it done in their third match. Actually, their second match, I should say. They play the 24th. Is that on a Saturday or is that on a Sunday? So that's actually on Sunday. So Senegal and Japan play on the 24th. And I believe it's, let's see, Colombia and Poland play on the 24th also. All right. So let's see. Let's actually move ahead to this weekend's games to see what we got going on here. All right. So we have the games up. 23rd, which is Saturday, we got Belgium, Tunisia, South Korea, Mexico, Germany, Sweden. 24th, we got England, Panama, Japan, Senegal, Poland, Colombia. All right. So I'm expecting Belgium to make light work of Tunisia. I know Tunisia played well against England, but I don't necessarily think that they're going to be able to do the same against Belgium, given the fact that Belgium have a better team, a much better team for that matter. So I expect Belgium to win probably 2-0 or 3-0 again, just like they did against Panama. Then we got South Korea, Mexico. That's going to be a bit of a tough game for Mexico, considering the fact that they just tend to play down to their opponent's level. All right. Obviously, you see them beating Germany 1-0, playing well. I would not be surprised at all if they came out a little bit flat against South Korea. I expect Mexico to win, but also, I mean, a plus with Mexico, something that's been a little bit encouraging as far as this game is that they're seemingly not underestimating South Korea from what they've been talking about. All right, the Germany game's already passed them. That wasn't the goal or whatever. Obviously, the goal was to beat Germany in the group or whatever, but nonetheless, World Cup doesn't end there. You still got matches to be played, so it seems like they're very focused on South Korea. Then we got Germany, Sweden. No Mats Hummels in this one, so you're probably going to see Antoine Rudiger playing or even Scholle playing in the back with Boateng. I'd probably see Rudiger play. I think he'd be fine back there. But nonetheless, I mean, Germany, nothing's really going too good for them so far in this World Cup. All right, and beating Sweden isn't necessarily going to be the easiest thing to do. All right, so let's say they draw against Sweden, Mexico beats South Korea. Their only chance to make it out is if Sweden doesn't end up drawing with Mexico in that final game. So Germany, this is essentially a must-win for them. All right, and then on Sunday we got England, Panama. England should win, but given how England have played so far in World Cups, it's not going to be easy. I could see them winning probably 2-1, 2-0 possibly. I mean, I'm not expecting Panama to really upset them or to come away with points, but it's going to be a tough game for England there. Then we got Japan, Senegal. Like I said, I mean, it's going to be a tough game for both teams. I'm expecting Senegal to most likely come out and win. I would not be surprised if it was a draw too. And then Poland, Colombia. This is basically you're playing for your World Cup lives here, unless they draw, which gives them another lifeline. But of course, I mean, if Hamid starts, I expect Colombia to win. I think Colombia's going to win either way, so we'll see about it there. But nonetheless, those are the games going on over the weekend. So we're going to wrap it up here. Today we talked about the games from Tuesday through Friday and also talked about this weekend's upcoming games. So thanks for listening to the GSMC Soccer Podcast. As always, I am your host, Jesse Tapia. I will be back on Monday, so stay tuned till then, and I will talk to you guys later.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Soccer Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.